So I'm going to continue. This is chapter 16, the Lord's attempt to go to Vṛndavan. Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura gives the following summary of this chapter in his Amṛta-pravāha-bhāṣya. When Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu wanted to go to Vṛndavan, Rāmānanda Roy and Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya indirectly presented many obstructions. In due course of time, all the devotees of Bengal visited Jagannātha Purī for the third year. This time, all the wives of the Vaiṣṇavas brought many types of food, intending to extend invitations to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu at Jagannātha Purī. When the devotees arrived, Caitanya Mahāprabhu sent his blessings in the form of garlands. In that year also, the Guṇḍicā temple was cleansed, and when the Cāturmāsya period was over, all the devotees returned to their homes in Bengal. Caitanya Mahāprabhu forbade Nityānanda to visit Nīlācala every year. Questioned by the inhabitants of Kulīna-grāma, Caitanya Mahāprabhu again repeated the symptoms of a Vaiṣṇava. Vidyānidhi also came to Jagannātha Purī and saw the festival of Oḍana-ṣaṣṭhī. When the devotees bade farewell to the Lord was determined to go to Vṛndavan, and on the day of Vijaya-daśamī he departed. Maharaj Prataparudra made various arrangements for Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's trip to Vṛndavan. When he crossed the river Chitrotpala, Rāmānanda Roy, Mardaraj, and Harichandana went with him. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu requested Gadadhar Pandit to return to Nīlācala, Jagannātha Purī, but he did not abide by this order. From Cuttack, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu again requested Gadadhar Pandit to return to Nīlācala, and he bade farewell to Rāmānanda Roy from Bhadraka. After this, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu crossed the border of Orissa state, and he arrived at Panihati by boat. Thereafter he visited the house of Raghava Pandit, and from there he went to Komarahata and eventually to Kulia, where he excused many offenders. From there he went to Ramakeli, where he saw Sri Rupa and Sanatan, and accepted them as his chief disciples. Returning from Ramakeli, he met Raghunath Das, and after giving him instructions, sent him back home. Thereafter the Lord returned to Nīlācala and began to make plans to go to Vṛndavan without a companion. By the nectar of his personal glance, the cloud known as Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu poured water upon the garden of Gaudadesh and revived the people who were like creepers and plants burning in the forest fire of material existence. All glories to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityānanda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu decided to go to Vṛndavan, and Maharaj Prataparudra became very morose upon hearing this news. The king therefore called for Sārvabhauma and Rāmānanda Roy, and he spoke the following submissive words to them. Prataparudra Maharaj said, "Please endeavor to keep Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu here at Jagannātha Purī, for now he is thinking of going elsewhere. Without Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, this kingdom is not pleasing to me. Therefore, please try to devise some plan to enable the Lord to stay here." After this, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu himself consulted with Rāmānanda Roy and Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, saying, "I shall go to Vṛndavan." Rāmānanda Roy and Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya requested the Lord to first observe the Rath Yatra festival. Then, when the month of Kartik arrived, he could go to Vṛndavan. However, when the month of Kartik came, they both told the Lord, "Now it is very cold. It is better that you wait to see the Doli Yatra festival and then go. That will be very nice." In this way, they both presented many impediments, indirectly not granting the Lord permission to go to Vṛndavan. They did this because they were afraid of separation from him. Although the Lord is completely independent and no one can check him, he still did not go without the permission of his devotees. Then for the third year, all the devotees of Bengal wanted to return again to Jagannātha Purī. all the Bengali devotees gathered around Bhaṭṭācārya. And in jubilation, the Acharya departed for Jagannātha Purī to see Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Although the Lord told Nityānanda Prabhu to stay in Bengal and spread ecstatic love for God, Nityānanda left to go see Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Who can understand Nityānanda Prabhu's ecstatic love? All the devotees of Navadvip departed, including Acharya Ratna, Vidyānidhi, Shrivas, Ramai, Vasudeva, Murari, Govinda and his two brothers, and Raghava Pandit, who took bags of assorted foods. The inhabitants of Kulīna-grāma, carrying silken ropes, also departed. Narhari and Sri Raghunandana, who were from the village of Kanda, and many other devotees also departed. Who can count them? Shivananda Sain, who is in charge of the party, made arrangements to clear the tax collecting centers. He took care of all the devotees and happily traveled with them. Shivananda Sain took care of all the necessities the devotees required. In particular, he made arrangements for residential quarters, and he knew the roads of Orissa. That year, all the devotees' wives, Thakuranis, also went to see Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Sita Devi, the mother of Achyutananda, went with the Bhaṭṭācārya. Srivas Pandit also took his wife Malini, and the wife of Shivananda Sain also went with her husband. Chaitanya Das, the son of Shivananda Sain, also jubilantly accompanied them as they went to see the Lord. The wife of Chandrasekhar, Acharya Ratna, also went. I cannot describe the greatness of Chandrasekhar's love for the Lord. To offer Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu various types of food, all the wives of the great devotees brought from home various dishes that pleased Caitanya Mahāprabhu. As stated, Shivananda Sain made all arrangements for the party's necessities. In particular, he pacified the men in charge of levying taxes and found resting places for everyone. Shivananda Sain also supplied food to all the devotees and took care of them along the way. In this way, feeling great happiness, he went to see Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu at Jagannātha Purī. When they all arrived at Ramuna, they went to see Lord Gopinath. In the temple there, Bhaṭṭācārya danced and chanted. All the priests of the temple had been previously acquainted with Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, they all came to offer great respects to the Lord. That night, all the great devotees remained in the temple, and the priests brought 12 pots of condensed milk, which they placed before Lord Nityananda Prabhu. When the condensed milk was placed before Nityananda Prabhu, he distributed the prasadam to everyone, and thus everyone's transcendental bliss increased. They then all discussed the story of Sri Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deity, and they discussed how Gopal begged sandalwood from him. It was Gopinath who stole condensed milk for the sake of Madhavendra Puri. This incident had been previously related by Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu himself. This same narration was again related by Lord Nityananda to all the devotees, and their transcendental bliss increased as they heard the story again. Purport: the words Mahaprabhura Mukhe from the mouth of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu are significant because Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu first heard the story of Madhavendra Puri from his spiritual master, Shripad Ishvara Puri. After staying at Sri Advaita's house in Shantipur for some time, the Lord narrated the story of Madhavendra Puri to Nityananda Prabhu, Jagannātha Prabhu, Damodar Pandit, and Mukunda Das. When they went to Ramuna, to the temple of Gopinath, he described Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deity as well as Gopinath stealing condensed milk. Due to this incident, Lord Gopinath became well known as Shirchor, the thief who stole condensed milk. Walking in this way, the devotees arrived at the city of Katak, where they remained for a day and saw the temple of Sakshi Gopal. When Nityananda Prabhu described all the activities of Sakshi Gopal, transcendental bliss increased in the minds of all the Vaishnavas. Purport. For these activities refer to Madhya Lila, chapter 5. Everyone in the party was very anxious at heart to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore they hastily went on to Jagannātha Purī. When they all arrived at a bridge called Ataranala, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, hearing the news of their arrival, sent 2 garlands with Govinda. Govinda offered the 2 garlands to Advaitacārya and Nityānanda Prabhu, and they both became very happy. Indeed, they began chanting the holy name of Krishna on that very spot. And in this way, dancing and dancing, Advaitacārya and Nityānanda Prabhu reached Jagannātha Purī. Then, for the second time, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu sent garlands through Swarup Damodar and other personal associates. Thus they went forward, sent by the son of Mother Shachi. When the devotees from Bengal reached Lake Narendra, Swarup Damodar and the others met them and offered them the garlands given by Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. When the devotees finally reached the Lion Gate, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu heard the news and personally went to meet them. Then Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and all his devotees visited Lord Jagannath. Finally, accompanied by them all, he returned to his own residence. Vaidhinath Roy and Kashi Mishra then brought a large quantity of prasadam, and Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu distributed it with his own hand and fed them all. Everyone has their service, right? The same thing. It's the next year. In the previous year, everyone had his own particular residence, and the same residences were again offered. Thus they all went to take rest. For 4 continuous months, all the devotees remained there and enjoyed chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. As in the previous year, they all washed the Guṇḍicā temple when the time for Rath Yatra arrived. The inhabitants of Kulīna-grāma delivered silken ropes to Lord Jagannath, and as previously, they all danced before the Lord's car. After dancing a great deal, they all went to a nearby garden and took rest beside a lake. A Brahmana named Krishnadas, who was a resident of Radha Desh and a servant of Lord Nityananda's, was a very fortunate person. It was Krishnadas who filled a great water pot and poured it over the Lord while he was taking his bath. The Lord was greatly satisfied by this. The remnants of food offered to the Lord at Balagandi then arrived in great quantity, and Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and all his devotees ate it. As in the previous year, the Lord, with all the devotees, saw the Rath Yatra festival and the Hera Panchami festival as well. Advaitacārya then extended an invitation to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, and there was a great rainstorm connected to that incident. We just lost the picture. All these episodes have been elaborately described by Śrīla Vṛindavana-'s Ṭhākura. Then one day, Srivas Thakur extended an invitation to the Lord. Purport: the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antyakanda, chapter 9, gives the following description. One day, Srila Advaitacārya, having extended an invitation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thought that if the Lord came alone, he would feed him to his great satisfaction. It then so happened that when the other sannyasis were going to Advaita Acharyas to take lunch, there was a big rainstorm, and they could not reach his house. Thus, according to Advaita Acharya's desires, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu came alone and accepted the prasadam. The Lord's favorite vegetables were cooked by Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas Thakur. She devotedly considered herself a maidservant of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, but in affection she was just like a mother. All the chief devotees headed by Chandrasekhar Acharya Ratna would extend invitations to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu periodically. At the end of the 4-month Cāturmāsya period, Caitanya Mahāprabhu again consulted with Nityānanda Prabhu daily in a solitary place. No one could understand what their consultation was about. Then Śrīla Bhaktivinoda said something to Caitanya Mahāprabhu through gestures and read some poetic passages which no one understood. Seeing the face of Advaitacharya, Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu smiled. Understanding that the Lord had accepted the proposal, Advaitacharya started to dance. No one knew what Advaitacharya requested or what the Lord ordered. After embracing the Acharya, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu bade him farewell. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu then told Nityananda Prabhu, "Please hear me, O holy man. I now request something from you, of you. Kindly grant my request. Do not come to Jagannātha Purī every year, but stay in Bengal and fulfill my desire." Purport. The mission of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is to spread the only medicine effective in the fallen age of Kali Yuga, this fallen age, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Following the orders of his mother, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was residing at Jagannātha Purī, and the devotees were coming to see him. However, the Lord felt that this message must be spread very elaborately in Bengal, and in his absence, there was not a second person capable of doing it. Consequently, the Lord requested Nityananda Prabhu to stay there and broadcast the message of Krishna consciousness. The Lord also entrusted a similar preaching responsibility to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Nityananda Prabhu was requested not to come every year to Jagannātha Purī, although seeing Lord Jagannath greatly benefits everyone. Does this mean that the Lord was refusing Nityananda Prabhu a fortunate opportunity? No. One who is a faithful servant of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu must execute his order. And if one has to sacrifice going to Jagannātha Purī to see Lord Jagannath there, no. One who is a faithful servant of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu must execute his order even if one has to sacrifice going to Jagannātha Purī to see Lord Jagannath there. In other words, it is a greater fortune to carry out Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's order than to satisfy one's senses by seeing Lord Jagannath. Preaching Caitanya Mahaprabhu's cult throughout the world is more important than staying in Vṛndāvana or Jagannātha Purī for one's own personal satisfaction. Spreading Krishna consciousness is Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Therefore, his sincere devotees must carry out his desire. Priti vite ache jata nagarari gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mor nam. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya must preach Krishna consciousness in every village and town in the world. That will satisfy the Lord. It is not that one should act whimsically for his own personal satisfaction. This order comes down through the parampara system, and the spiritual master presents these orders to the disciple so that he can spread the message of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. It is the duty of every disciple to carry out the order of the bona fide spiritual master and spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. So we'll take a short break and come back here at 12 noon. Gaur Premanande Haribo Vanchakalptaruscha Kripa Sindhave Vajapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.